If beauty, brains, grace, and poise were a person, it would be Gorgo of Sparta. The woman whose brilliance saved her father, repelled the Persian army, and forged the mighty Spartan state that has been an icon of feminism for 2 millennia. Her achievements are unmatched, and her spirit is irreplaceable, a true testament to women and female empowerment. A woman who was like Beyoncé, Oprah, and Wonder Woman all wrapped into one. A woman of her time, and this is her story. First, let's set the scene. She was born to King Clemenes I, but because ancient Greece had little regard for women, nobody bothered to write down her date of birth. However, Gorgo's birth and subsequent life sparked a revolution that forced the Greek men to rethink the status of women in society. When she was just 8 years old, the little princess stopped what could have been the demise of her father with one simple piece of advice: get out of the room. It was the height of the Ionian Revolt, and Aristagoras, the tyrant ruler of the city of Miletus, had come to seek help from Gorgo's father, King Clemenes. He wanted Clemenes to join forces with him to attack the Persian colonies and plunder their wealth. Initially, Clemenes was sold on the idea, but when he realized that the journey would take him 3 months by sea, he developed cold feet. He dreaded crossing the rough seas with his men, with no assurance of victory. Sensing Cleomenes' doubt, Aristagoras decided to bribe him with huge offers. But Cleomenes was adamant and asked Aristagoras to leave his palace. However, Aristagoras didn't give up. Instead, he returned the following evening with more gifts and mouth-watering proposals so tempting that Cleomenes couldn't resist. He was about to give in when his 8-year-old daughter Gorgo signaled and asked to see him privately. She told him she'd seen how he was struggling to reject the gifts and the promises, even though he knew they would be the end of him, for Persia would leave no stone unturned until everyone was wiped out. So she gave her father this piece of advice: leave the palace, lest the bribes of Aristagoras corrupt you. The father left the palace. After all, they say, out of sight, out of mind. And that was how King Cleomenes saved his integrity, his life, and most importantly, Sparta from the Persian invasion. When Gorgo came of age, she caught the eyes of Leonidas, the half-brother of her father. Apparently, Leonidas had been moved by the young Gorgo's charm, wit, and wisdom. Their union became the icon of marriage, a power couple whose influence and fusion would birth a new dawn for Sparta. Think of them as an ancient power couple, you know, the Jay-Z and Beyoncé of Sparta. But Gorgo wasn't just a pretty face, she was a brilliant strategist. At the time, the Persians were still bent on invading Sparta and had hatched a brilliant plan that would completely rout the Spartans. Fortunately, Demaratus, a former Spartan king, now in exile in Persia, caught wind of the plan and sent a coded message to Sparta. When the messenger arrived, he handed over the message on a blank waxed tablet. The king turned over the wooden tablet but didn't see any secret message, so he decided to dispose of it. Just then, the precocious bright-eyed Gorgo stepped in and wondered why a wooden tablet would need waxing. She then asked for the wax to be melted. Lo and behold, the secret message was hidden under the wax. Gorgo deciphered the message and warned the king about the impending danger. Some people believe Gorgo would have been a better spy than 007. It was like James Bond meets Hermione Granger. Do you agree? Let me know in the comments section. In the meantime, the Spartans marshaled all their ranks and got ready for the Persians. When they arrived, the Persian troops got the surprise of their lives. Thanks to Gorgo's code-breaking skills, the Spartans won the day, but the war wasn't over. Now let's talk about her legendary wit. King Xerxes of Persia had an army that easily dwarfed the army size of any of his rivals. He wanted to conquer all the Greek states and bring them under his iron rule. Knowing that little Sparta was no match for the mighty Persian army, Leonidas decided to string all the Greek states together to form a united front. So he traveled the length and breadth of Greece, and guess who he took with him? His genius wife Gorgo. Gorgo helped her husband rally their sister states with speeches that moved the hearts of men into action. On one of these rallying journeys in Athens, a woman walked up to Gorgo and quipped, "You Spartan women are the only ones who rule their men." To which Gorgo responded, "Yes, we are the only ones that give birth to men." Yep, Gorgo had one of the sharpest quips that would make Cat Williams blush. Gorgo's clapback was so strong that it rang across the centuries, which isn't surprising because Spartan women of her day were highly educated and physically strong. The Spartans believed that dogs would always give birth to dogs. A strong, brilliant woman would bear sturdy, wise children. Thus, Gorgo was taught to read and write at a very young age. She also learned dancing, poetry, music, and the arts. But that wasn't all. She was trained in athletics, wrestling, and throwing a javelin. Historians claim that Gorgo would often spar with her colleagues and come out victorious. No wonder she gave birth to one of the smartest and strongest kings to rule Sparta, Plistarchus. Spartan politics stifled the voices of women, and thus Gorgo rarely spoke her ideas in public. But it is believed that she influenced her husband's decisions privately. She was instrumental in shaping the policies that governed Sparta and helped her husband rule the kingdom. As a visionary woman, Gorgo could tell that her husband wouldn't return from the Battle of Thermopylae. So she asked him, what should she do in his absence? The equally wise king told her, marry a good man who would treat you well, bear him children, and live a good life. Leonidas knew Gorgo's resilience would see her through, and resilient she was. When her suspicions came to pass, and her husband failed to return from the Battle of Thermopylae, Gorgo was heartbroken. She had expected the loss of her husband, but wasn't prepared for the sorrow and grief that would hit her like a tsunami. Grief and sorrow were her constant companions as she got used to staying in the huge palace all by herself. However, knowing that she had a kingdom to influence and a new king to raise, Gorgo rose up from the ashes. She dusted herself off and whipped up all the courage she could to face the future. Her son, Plistarchus, was too young to rule then, so the kingdom fell to his uncle, Cleombrotus. Unfortunately, Cleombrotus passed away in 480 BC, leaving the reins to Pausanias, the first cousin of Gorgo's son. All this while, Gorgo raised her son and actively contributed to the kingdom's advancement by sharing invaluable insights with its kings and elders. She demonstrated through her wit and wisdom that a woman was always an invaluable asset to any society when given the opportunity. Through her resilience, strength, and bravery, she blazed the trail for other women to follow. Some sources indicate that she was instrumental in helping Pausanias win the Battle of Plataea against the mighty Persian juggernaut. However, the Spartans didn't like Pausanias' rule and eventually accused him of treason. His citizens then conspired to starve him till he passed away, leaving the throne to Gorgo's son, where she could remain the behind-the-scenes powerhouse. Think Kris Jenner, but with a spear. Gorgo had finished her work. She had raised her son well, fit to occupy one of the most prestigious thrones in ancient Greek history. No one knows what happened to Gorgo because history doesn't tell us, but everyone knows that she lived well and that her influence has been felt throughout the ages. So, what do you think? Could Gorgo outwit James Bond and outshine Wonder Woman? Let us know in the comments. For more tales of powerful women, check out our next video on Boudica, the warrior queen who took on the Roman Empire. Click on this video, and I will see you there. And until next time, thanks ever so much for watching.